There's nothing more certain than change. It's all around us. It's constant. So why is it then that when we're dissatisfied with what we're getting out of life, the one thing that we don't want to do is change what we're doing right now? That is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. No one understands this more than one of the great pioneers of change in our industry, and that is the Karuna Group. Karuna Dimelow is the Karuna Group COO. She joined the business in 2003. After 8 years in a sales role and assisting with Karuna's expansion, Karuna stepped in as an area leader, managing 7 offices with a team of more than 90. She set about transforming her offices into the most profitable in the company. This resulted in her promotion to COO in November of 2017. In that role, she's there to streamline the business, create more efficiencies between all the departments, especially at their group headquarters. She oversees events, administration, contracts, recruitment, marketing, operations, concierge and IT. No one better to talk on this subject than Karuna. She'll join us in just a moment.
What change means to me is about growth, it's about adapting, it's about doing something different that you haven't done before and then implementing that and seeing how it goes. Is the pace of change in the industry increasing? I think it depends on what time frame you're looking at. I think that if I look when I started back in 2003, it's changed dramatically. There was hardly any transparency to what there is now with reviews and REA and Domain and all the platforms that buyers can see what's going on in the market. There was social media wasn't there. I think it's been dramatic. But I think year on year, if we look at it, say last year to this year, I don't think the pace is changing that dramatically. But when you look at a snapshot, say over a long period of time, you actually in hindsight realise how fast it is changing, and you probably don't notice it when you're running really hard and trying to adapt and cope with the change. I believe change in our industry is necessary, and I don't think it's just in our industry. I think it's a lot of industries have adapted and changed over the period of time, and it is got to do with that pace and how fast things are changing around the world. And I think if we don't grow, we don't adapt, we don't change our business to help consumers and help customers and help our community and help our team members, we'll become irrelevant. And I think that's why change is so important in our industry. I think it's really hard to obviously tell unless you have a crystal ball, but I think that I wish I did sometimes and I could adapt before they actually happen, but I think sometimes they come faster and then you realise you're having to adapt after the fact, and that makes it hard because then you've got to run faster. But I think that consumer expectations are a part of the change, and I think you've got to adapt to those very quickly because I think they're wanting more and more each day. I think there's lots of agents aren't adapting fast enough to the tech tools and how that can improve their business and what that looks like for them. So I think that without us changing to the impact of the industry, people aren't growing well enough and they're getting fatigued and they're getting stressed. And I think that because of consumers and everyone's expectations are growing, the agent then has to grow, and I think that's causing impacts in our industry and they're not changing fast enough. For us supporting change, I think you can get really caught up in trying to implement too many things all at once, and you can actually get distracted on what our core focus of our business is. And I think that you've got to really look at your business and go, okay, what outcome am I trying to achieve here? What are we actually going to support? What are we going to implement? And actually what's going to make a dramatic difference to our core business, which is obviously listing, selling, renting property. So for me, I look at it on a daily basis and say, okay, well, what am I trying to achieve? How am I going to actually implement that in our business? And what outcome is that going to bring for, as I said, either for consumer expectations, for our team members' benefit, but it's ultimately to drive better results and outcomes in our business to drive profitability. And I think if you're not looking at those things and you're just looking at bright, shiny things all the time, you can get taken off path and off course, and there's new things getting adapted all the time, that without you actually looking at how is that going to impact the bottom line of your business, it's not going to work and it's not going to deliver you that outcome. So for me, you've got to actually look at what are we going to choose to implement into our business, how are we going to roll that out, and what is the benefit to our team members and community.